Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started with Coach John Herdman from Canada, post-match press conference. A reminder, we have translation, Spanish Channel 1, English Channel 3, and French in Channel 5. We'll go directly to questions, so please raise your hand and we'll pass you the microphone. Thank you.
John Arnold from goal. Obviously, going to the halftime with the lead and come out defeated. What was the difference? What happened in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all gutted. I think generally just disappointment in that second half performance. I think we gave Haiti exactly what they wanted. We gave them that avenue back into the game at the wrong time. And when you give them that sort of momentum, we said that this had come down to a battle of wills, and I just felt, at the end, we didn't have what it took. We just didn't have enough. We've got all the talent there, but at the end of the day, they had a very good strategy. It was very direct and made it difficult for us, and was pushing players to the edge of their limits. And when you're at the edge of your limits, your mistakes are made. And yeah, that was tough. That was tough to accept. I feel for players like Atiba Hutchinson, who, this is probably his last Gold Cup, to finish that way. It's not easy.
Right here in the first row.
John Archbell with Concacaf.com. What lessons can you learn not only from tonight but from this tournament to be able to carry into the the World Cup qualifying? The other Nations League games. What do you think are some of the big learning points from tonight for future Canada matches?
Yeah, I think it's a young team that is learning and growing. There's a lot of young lads that this is their first Gold Cup, first time in a big moment with Canada. But look, I think it's not to make excuses. We really got to look inward and make sure that there's a real clarity about what we have to change going into Gold Cup. This was one of those games where, we're sitting 2-0 up, and that 2-0 scoreline, it was, some of the tactics we talked about at half-time were about the mindset of the 2-0 scoreline and making sure that we were resolute, but you lose and you learn, and we got to learn from what it was in that second half, just the distances at times there, on that direct play, getting cover to people earlier, and that 1v1 defending in moments against good athletic players. I mean, I think for us, we've just got to make sure that we're clear about that area of the field that we've got to work in, and there's coming out of that tonight, the goals will tell you there's some areas that Canada will need to strengthen and keep developing and keep growing. To score 2 goals and then to concede 3, I think that's the real inward look across our team and across the coaching staff and how we can make that better.
John, would you say there's an element of that you need to be a little bit more battle-hardened and obviously let it go that easily in the defence?
Yeah, I just think Haiti, I mean, they're a good team. They've just beaten Costa Rica. They've now beaten Canada. I mean, this is a team that's been together for a while, and through that Nations League developed a lot of momentum, and you can see they've got a style of play. It's tough. It's very tough to play against. And the battle-hardened is that lesson coming up against that sort of physicality. There's a real lesson to learn there about, moving the ball quicker, about getting support around players earlier, and not taking those situations too lightly where, big diags hit and, our fullbacks exposed with someone that's physically, is stronger. We got to get cover to him so he doesn't have to make those tackles. And I think, that's a reality check. We'll learn from it for sure, but it hurts. This bloody hurts. This was a good opportunity for our country to step forward. We've missed it, so now we've got to make sure in Nations League and on that path to 2022, we just keep building that experience together.
Right here in the second row, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Lou Gomez with MLS. I know right now you feel gutted for the defeat, but what can you highlight that the Canadian team did well in the Gold Cup?
Well, I think we showed at times our attacking prowess. I think what we were able to show was a team spirit, a collectiveness in games, and across the tournament the players have stayed focused for long periods, and they're committed to take this country forward. They're devastated, absolutely devastated that I think they felt this Gold Cup was a chance to really push on. So they've put work in behind the scenes to create a foundation, both on and off the pitch, and I think that style tonight was a huge learning. We've got to learn how to adapt to that style of play. And while we tried to manage their transition, I just don't think we were ready for those physical battles at times. And while I think my centre backs did well in moments, I think we won a lot of those aerial challenges. They just wore us down in those moments and forced those errors. And all credit to them. That's a tough style of play to play against.
We'll do one last question here with Arch.
John, you had a chance you just spoke very briefly with the players in a huddle on the field right after the game. Certainly don't expect you to tell us word for word what you said, but what was the message that you were trying to broadcast or transmit to your team there on the field as you were leaving the field?
Well, I think the guys were giving it their best. There was no doubt in my mind there wasn't an effort there, but it was more. That was potentially Atiba's last Gold Cup, and just sorry the way we've sent him out. It's just not what we'd imagined. But at the same time, there's some learning in every loss, and for this group just to stay together, keep believing in what they've put together, keep believing in each other. And we've got a Nations League match coming up in September that's critical to our World Cup qualification. So we have to take advantage of that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.